Perfect. So we're all over. I'm so excited to have you all here, and I'm really excited to host this training. And I have been working a lot with it. I have a lot of things to share with you today and a lot of things that I want to talk about. And as I mentioned, I'm going to mention it again since a lot of people come in now. We have really bad weather, and it might be that somewhere it's going to be a little bit laggy, and then we're going to just cut the cameras. But we're going to run with the cameras for as long as we want, or as long as we can, because I want to see you. It makes it so much more fun. The energy is so better when we have the cameras on, isn't it, right? So, welcome. This is the Clients on Demand training, and add all the questions in the chat. Josephine, that is here with me, is going to collect all the questions. So any questions that is not answered throughout the content, I will make sure that I go back and we answer all of them at the end of this session, because I have a lot to share and I value everybody's time. So I don't want to get caught up through the content in some kind of a Q&A thing, okay? So we're gonna save all the questions, but most of the questions I can promise is going to get answered throughout the entire content, okay? And maybe you are someone who actually is showing up, you are creating content and you are doing all the work, but sales is inconsistent. And maybe you are the person that sends out an email, maybe today or maybe yesterday, and then the next morning you are refreshing your inbox and you're hoping for that payment notification from Stripe coming through and nothing. Or maybe you run something like a webinar, masterclass, a challenge, or something live selling. People join, they say, oh my God, this was amazing, and then they disappear and they even ghost you. Or you look at your list, email list, it's not growing, you're not generating any leads, and you're not making any sales. And the thing is that sometimes we don't know why, because we do all the things that people tell us to do. And then I want to assure you that you are in the right place, because on the other side of this training, we are going to talk about masterclasses. You already know that because that is why you signed up. So on the other side of this training, you have a masterclass that generates leads and build your list. You have a system in place, and we're going to talk about how a masterclass is a sales system that closes clients every time that you run it. On the other side of this training, you have consistent revenue instead of this inconsistent month, and you actually know when you're going to get clients and where they're going to come from. On the other side, you have growing your list with qualified leads and selling with confidence and conviction, and actually have an offer that sells out every time because your masterclass is built to sell your specific offer. And you're going to have one masterclass, and you're going to see how one masterclass that you can run again and again and again is going to close clients on demand. And that is why we are here. We want clients today. No, we wanted them yesterday, but we can't get them yesterday. So we want them today, right? And that is what we're building here. And I love to see the chat going. So please make sure that you keep that going and share any questions, any thought that you have in the chat. And I love that we are so spread out all over the world. It's amazing. Some from Europe, we have US, we have everywhere. And isn't that the perfect, or isn't that the most wonderful thing with Zoom and with events that we can come together like this? And for you who don't know me, we have a lot of new people coming in for this masterclass. I'm Angela, and I'm a virtual event sales expert, and I help service-based entrepreneurs sell their offers one-to-many using virtual events. But we're not only doing that, because at the same time as we run the virtual events like masterclasses, we grow our audience, we grow our email list, we claim our category online, and we also do all this without having the need of huge audiences, complicated tech, or spending hours on social media, which is exhausting. And I have been doing this for almost 10 years. I actually celebrate 10 years in business next year. So then we're going to host something special, me and Josephine. So I'm so excited for that. And I have over all these years run almost 400 live virtual events. And I'm going to share my story in a moment. And what I'm going to share with you today is not theory, because this is what I run and have been running my business doing for almost 10 years. And it's also the same way that Josephine, that is here with me today, my business partner, run her business and the way that all my clients run their business. So this is not theory. This is the system that we use to close clients on demand. And this training is for service-based entrepreneurs who are done chasing clients one by one. And you want a simple system that builds your list, generate leads, and close clients on repeat without all the complexity. Because I am not a fan of complexity. I love simple, and I always look for how can I simplify things. And by the end of this session, you will understand exactly why most masterclasses, if you maybe have done masterclasses and webinars or any type of virtual events, don't convert, and what you're going to do instead. You're also going to see how one masterclass do all the fundamentals in a business, and it's going to replace a lot of stuff that you actually do today. So it's going to save you a lot of time, and you will leave knowing exactly how the event inside of a masterclass needs to look like, but also how to fill it with the right people. We're going to talk about sales, and we're going to talk about a way of selling that doesn't feel icky or slimy or sleazy that a lot of people feel when we talk about sales. So that is what we are going to do today. And I want you to think about what this actually could do for your business and also for your life, because you run your business to have the lifestyle that you want, however that might look like, right? So how would that make you feel, and what would you kind of see yourself having that lifestyle, waking up? How would you feel about your business? But not only that, how would you feel as a person? How would you feel knowing that you have a system in place that close clients, you claim your category, you are a leader, you stand up and speak and lead your audience? That feels really good, right? And most of our clients, when they have done events, the clients and the money is amazing. But how it changed ourselves, how we see ourselves as leaders, that is also a huge win, okay? And most people that teach what I teach, masterclasses, webinars, and things like that, they teach a lot of strategies, a lot of platforms, slide structure, slide creation, and things like that. And we are going to cover what matters. But I also going to share how you're going to own the room, how you're going to lead people through decisions, and how to sell from a place of service and not this pressure selling that can sometimes feel a little bit awkward for us. And that is the difference between a masterclass that gets great feedback, because a lot of masterclasses get great feedback, but one that actually converts. And I didn't start out doing this. I'm going to share my story really quickly. I didn't start out doing this. I started to build this from a truck cabin because I was a full-time truck driver in Sweden. I was living in the truck from Sunday to Friday every week, and I had been doing that for almost 15 years. So I built this from the truck cabin using a phone and a tripod. And I was selling health and wellness to women. And in the weekends back then, I worked as a personal trainer, and I wanted another lifestyle. I was kind of trapped in this lifestyle that I didn't really like. And I don't know if anyone here has any relative that is a truck driver, but that is an entire lifestyle on its own. And I wanted to break free, but I couldn't launch anything truck style online, right? So I launched a fitness business. I built an entire app system without knowing anything about Dream Client. I didn't know anything about niching down. I didn't know anything about messaging. I had no idea there was a word called organic marketing. So I run ads to quizzes, and depending on what they answered, they were introduced to one of my 20 programs that I had inside of that app. It was expensive and it was complex. Okay, and it costed me a lot of money, more money than I was making. Then I came across a challenge, and this was a 5-day challenge. And I thought, wow, can it just be this simple? Can I just show up, speak a little, and people will just buy my stuff? I launched and I failed, because what I didn't realize, among all the other things that I didn't know anything about, it's an entire system to run a 5-day challenge. Any type of multi-day event, it's a huge system behind. So I said, enough is enough, I need help. So I hired a coach that was an expert in creating webinars and 5-day challenges. And I relaunched. And that 5-day challenge, together with the webinar, so I run a little complex system back then as well, but I run a 5-day challenge and a webinar every single month. So in 4 months, I have closed $100,000 in sales. And that was when I realized what all the tech that I had created, all the complexity that I had created, worked as a wall between me and my audience. So when I removed that wall and I threw that away and I just showed up and started leading people and speak to the women that I wanted to help and have a real time two-way communication with them, that is what converted. And that entire experience taught me everything that I needed to know about what makes people actually buy something. And it's not the tech, and it's not the fancy slides, and it's not the size of your audience, and it's not the perfect setup, and it's the connection, and it's the conversation, it's the leadership, and it's the energy that you bring into the room that makes people purchase. Right? So, and because it's something I hear a lot when you're going, some of you already feel this, that I'm not sure because I don't have the perfect setup, I don't have this, I don't have that. I did this from a truck cabin all up until 2020, because 2020 was when I switched into what I do today. Start teaching others to sell events. So for almost 3 years, I was running virtual events from the truck cabin with a phone and a tripod. And sometimes I didn't have a shower, so I looked like crap. I'm just going to be honest. The interior of that truck, because it was a show truck, so it was turquoise with pinup girls. And I was selling health and wellness to women. But I realized that that didn't matter. What matters was the connection between us and my ability to lead people from where they are to where they want to go. So it's not about being perfect. It's not about having some perfect setups to be able to do this. You can do this from your little corner. And in 2020, when I switched and I closed the fitness business, I quit as a truck driver. I started to travel because that was the reason I started my business in 2017. I wanted to travel. And when you travel, you don't bring all the fancy setup. You have a laptop, you have a little ring light on your laptop, and you use the camera that is on the laptop. And that is how I built the entire thing. And I still do. I do have a little camera now that is on top of my laptop, but nothing else. And that is what I really want you to take with you from this, that you don't need to have everything figured out. It doesn't need to be perfect in order to do this. Okay? And we're going to talk about some things here. So I'm going to kind of make sure that we have the 1.5 hour-ish. Just going to say that it's going to be an ish. Set up what we are going to talk about today. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about the market as it is today, because it has changed a lot since especially 2017, but I would say the last years, right? And the way that we run masterclasses look very different. And I'm going to share why, because that is the biggest reason why a lot of people that did masterclasses before can't convert them anymore. That is one thing. We are going to look into what a masterclass actually is, because most people kind of misunderstand when I talk about masterclasses and webinars and how it is actually a complete lead and sales system. We are going to talk about how to fill it with the right people. We're going to talk about how to create content that drives decisions and how to actually sell from a place of conviction and service. And at the end, I am going to invite everyone that is here into the sold out masterclass where we are going to build this together. So are we ready for this? It was a long introduction, but I want to make sure that we are set up. So are we ready? Because then I want you to make sure you have a pen and paper. I have a lot to cover. And also give you this yourself the gift to focus for these 90 minutes, because this will completely change how you actually run your business. So we have a lot of people that say they're all ready. So let's go. And we're going to send out a replay, Caroline, so you can get it there. So perfect. And we have some questions coming in, and make sure you add all the questions to the chat. Josephine is collecting them. Some will be answered throughout the content, but all the questions, I'm going to make sure we go back to them. So nobody's going to leave here without any questions unanswered, okay? So the first thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is the market, how it looks today and what is happening, because it's important to understand that before we go into how we built masterclasses as a lead and sales system today, because it have changed. And when I talk about the things that I'm going to talk about, there is also someone that might feel like, yeah, but this hasn't affected me. I don't feel like this. I can't see how my reality have really changed because of everything that is going on. But that is not the question. And that is not the conversation. The question and conversation that you need to have is, how has it affected the one person that you are selling to? Right? That is what you need to ask yourself, because that is the only thing that matters. We are not building a masterclass in here to sell to yourself, right? You're building a masterclass to sell to somebody else that is going to purchase an offer. That is who you need. That is the reality you need to operate in, not your own reality. Okay? Because that is important to think about when we go into the stuff that is in the market, because not all the changes have affected us personally, but it might have affected the person that you sell to. Okay? Number one, and write this down, of course, we have a huge trust gap on the market. Trust is very low. And this, I would say from 2020, there has been no entry level. Anyone with a phone could put up a bio, claim to be an expert, and sell exactly what you do. Now, thanks to AI, they can also sound like experts. They can even look like experts with a clone, right? And I am not against AI. We use it a lot, but we need to understand how have this shifted the market that we are selling into, okay? And with this comes a lot of noise. With this comes a lot of saturation, but also a lot of skepticism. And they did a survey in 2025 and found that 70% of people are not sure what they see online is something they can trust. 70% of all people. And during this time, people have bought a lot of programs that didn't deliver. They have seen behind the curtains. Buyers are way smarter today than they were before, because we have learned a lot in the online space, especially since 2020, when we bought everything online. And if you look at a masterclass, it's going to close this trust gap that have happened in the market, because people don't just buy the result anymore. They buy into you. They buy into your conviction. They buy into your conversation. They buy into your connection, and they buy into your leadership. And in a masterclass, you're going to show up with your people, with your energy, and having a real live two-way communication with your audience. You're going to speak directly into their reality, answering questions in real time, and lead people through a genuine breakthrough, which means that the trust gap that has been created on the market, we can close with the masterclass. Number two, information have lost its value. just how it is, right? People are not struggling because they lack information. They have more information that they even know what to do with, right? They are struggling because they don't know what to act on. They don't know what information to trust, and they don't know how to move forward throughout this that is accessible online. Adding more content to that pile that people actually have is not going to solve the problems. Leading them through a decision is going to solve the problem. It's very important to understand that a masterclass is not an information dump. Your job is not to teach everything that you know. It's to create a breakthrough that moves people from where they are to where they want to go. And that is what converts. And that is what builds authority. And that is what makes people invest. And the third thing that have happened is the attention span is a little bit shorter, right? The buying cycle is longer. People are consuming a lot of things, and the average buying cycle sometimes can be maybe 9 months online if people are just kind of passively consuming your content that you push out. But when you get someone inside of a room live with you, you collapse that time. You shorten the trust cycle, you shorten the timeline that takes for people to go from cold to sold. And this is why also if we look at the attention span, that masterclasses, our clients' masterclasses, you can also see the trend online. Shorter events is skyrocketing, right? Because people are easily more committed to a 90 minutes or a 60 minute than they are to 5 days, right? And on the other hand, people see me hosting multi-day events. Absolutely, they still work. There's no question that they don't work because they work. But it's also a skill set to host energy and to hold a room 5 days in a row. And what happens is that a lot of people that launch longer events and fail think that, oh, webinars or 5-day challenges doesn't work for me, or 3-day doesn't work for me. And it most likely is because we get exhausted, because we show up with good energy day one and everything is perfect. You show up again day two, less people show up. So you start focusing on the people that didn't show up. Where are they? Why didn't they come to my live session? And your energy goes down. And day three, even less people show up because you had so low energy, so they're not going to come back. And then all of a sudden the room is almost empty. Nobody's going to hear your invitation. It's a skill set. And a lot of people might not have that skill set yet. So that is why you can see shorter events is skyrocket. And that is why we also host this training, me and Josephine here, because we can see it in all our clients. It's amazing conversion rate. Number 4, the connection gap is wider than ever. And when I talk about connection gap, it's human connection. We can see entrepreneurs spending 20, even 30 hours per week on tactics, software, technology, content, strategies that moves them further and further away from speaking to people, the people that they are here to serve. On the other side over here, we have an entire audience that is just sitting there waiting for someone to speak to them. And this is a huge gap, and it's just getting wider every day, okay? And I usually say it's a human connection gap. And the masterclass is going to put yourself into that gap, right? And what happens when we close a gap on the market? We make money. Because you are going to put your masterclass right in front of these people, invite them to a live room where you, the person, is going to be there speaking. And that connection gap closed. So you can see how a masterclass do a lot of things if we look at how it serves the market today and how it serves your audience reality today. And one more thing that sometimes comes up when you talk about this is niches. No, my niche is different. My audience won't show up and things like that. I want you to just go online. Just look at the big leaders and look at what they actually do. Don't listen what they say. Look at what they do. And I can say this from my own experience all the way back to 2017, because how did I buy the app system? In a live event, in a 5-day challenge. So their sales system was the 5-day challenge, not the app that I bought from them, right? Which means that you can look in any market, because why does it work for all niches? It's business fundamentals. And that is what we are going to move into now. Because the misunderstanding when we talk about webinars or masterclasses is that it's a fun thing to have. Oh, we are going to create 12 different masterclasses and we're going to run one every single month, different topic, different things, and see if one of them converts. That is not what we are going to build, okay? We are going to build a sales system and a lead generation system using one masterclass. And that is why it's so important to understand that it's actually an entire sales system and lead generation system that do the entire fundamentals in a business. And that is why you can see all the experts doing them, okay? And I have actually, I know we have a lot of clients here that is going to say like, wow, because I have created a couple of slides. I'm just going to find a way to share them. So let's see, I am not, it's not my skill set, this, maybe no. Ooh, I have slides here. So this is, of course, the masterclass. We are going to jump over that. This is business fundamentals, right? And I think that you all have seen this, right? And the thing here is that this is everyone's business is going to run this way. You have an audience up here. You do lead generation. You do lead nurturing, which is building trust with those people. right? And then you do lead conversion, which is sales. And this is a funnel, and we see this everywhere, right? And without having a real kind of flow here, it's almost impossible to scale. It's almost impossible to not fall into a trap to adding more, because we have one thing that do this, we have a couple of other things that do this, and then we have some things that do this, and it's a complete complex mess. Okay, but this is business fundamentals. If you look at all businesses online, all successful businesses, they have something that do all these three things in one go. A simple system that runs on repeat in the fundamentals of the business. The problem, however, is that most people end up here. So they spend too much time in one of these things. So either they spend all their time lead generation. So they just build a list, they grow maybe an audience and they grow a list, make no money because they never nurture those people and they never sell to those people. So they're just building a pile of leads and making no money. Some people are stuck here because they just teach and add value to the market and serve the market and do amazing content, but they never sell. And sometimes they don't generate any new people. So they are the world's best kept teacher, but nothing is going to make any money from. Some people are stuck down here, so all they do is sell to the same people over and over again, and they're going to run out of people to sell to, and they stop growing. And that is the problem with having different stuff doing all these three things, because you will end up stuck in one of these, and the result is always the same. No money, no clients, exhausted, and broke, probably. And then if we look here, you have the masterclass. And the masterclass works the same way, because you have an audience here. You invite people to join, just like me and Josephine invited you to this. It's the lead generation. We host the masterclass here. We now build trust with you. We talk with you. We have a two-way communication. We answer questions with all those things. And then I invite you to my offer. And this is how your masterclass is going to run too. So if you look at this, they are the same thing. It's just that this one, this problem disappear. Because when you do this, you're not going to spend too much time here and skip the masterclass. You're not going to generate leads and then you open the doors here and you just say, hey, buy my offer, done. You do all these three things in one go, which means that a masterclass is a total, complete lead and sales system. And this is how you need to see a masterclass, because otherwise you're going to go out and create 12 of them. You're going to run one every month, different things, and hope one will hopefully convert anywhere, somewhere. But that is not what we are building. And this is important because sometimes people think that, oh, I have so many ideas, or what should I do? I need different masterclasses. I need this. You are going to have one masterclass to sell one offer to one audience. Okay. In the future, you can build how many you want to. Okay. But start with one. And that is going to do this for you. Instead of me having this funnel, because I don't really like the funnel here, and it's strange to look at it, you can look at it like this. It's a cycle. So when I talk about running a masterclass in a cycle, this is what I mean. You have lead generation, you invite people, you host your masterclass, you nurture people, you build trust, you say, hey, this is what I'm inviting you to, and you do sales. Then you have some time between that. Of course, you need to go out and come across new people. Otherwise, there is no one to invite. It's obvious, right? This is a cycle. And this is what you run on repeat again and again and again. And it's going to convert again and again and again. The thing here is that when I talk about running signature masterclasses, people say like, yeah, but people get tired of my content. I can't do the same topic all the time. The only one that is going to get tired of your content is you, nobody else. People need to hear your masterclass multiple times. And since it's live, it's never really going to be the same. Why? Because the world changed, the reality changed. The problem is going to look different now than they did 2020. When I hosted this training 2020, I didn't talk about this because it wasn't a thing back then, right? So the world changed. I have been running all my events about events since 2020. If we look at big names, you can look at Russell Brunson. I think he ran his one funnel away thing for almost 10 years, and he did it I think it was about 8 to 10 times per year, same thing. Okay, so, and every time you start over, you go a little bit backwards before you go forward, which means try not to go down that road. Okay, we are going to build one. So if we then look into what one masterclass actually could do for you, because I want to look into the numbers a little bit, and now I'm going to magically try to switch the window. Can we see the sheet? Yes, perfect. And I thought that we're going to do this. This is a sheet that I'm going to give this to everyone. So I'm going to upload it after this session on the replay page, because then you can play around with your own numbers, because I have made this really, really simple just so we can see what it actually could do in a year. Okay. And here is just an example of how it can look like. So let's say you run your first one now in June. We are halfway through April. You spend May to kind of working it out and building it out, and then you run it. Your offer is 1,000. It needs to be easy, but you can go in and change this in the cheat. And you make 8 sales. That is $8,000, right? Then we want to have July off. We want to lay on the beach and drink pina colada here, so we don't run anything here. Then we run again in August. And we do it a little bit late, because the school starts late, right? For most people, if they have children. So we run it late, and we don't increase our investment of our offer. We make 10 sales, 10,000. Then we take September off, because we started a little bit late here, and we run one early October. Same, 12 clients, 12,000. November, we run it late because we then want to be free in December. 1,000, 14,000. And you can just count here. And with this simple, and if you look at the numbers, those are not crazy numbers. $1,000 offer, 10, 14 clients. We increase with 2 clients every time we run it. It's not a huge kind of thing. 120,000. $120,000. And if we just look at a really good way that it could run, let's say, oh, I hope everybody can see now when I scrolled. Let's say we increase the offer here. We make a little more sales, $200,000 in a year. One masterclass. And if you go, we're going to scroll back up here. How many masterclasses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you run a 1-hour masterclass, that is 8-hour live in a year for $120,000. It's a pretty good return of time going live. Because you build it once, what are you going to do the second time? Are you going to create anything new? No, it's a rinse and repeat. Same email, same topic, same landing page. The only thing you do is edit things that you feel I need to improve this. That is the only thing that you do, which means the first one, do you need to build it? Absolutely. It takes some time. But when it's done, it's a complete rinse and repeat system. And that is why when I talk about masterclasses, people assume that, oh my God, it takes so much time. I don't have time to do this. Just imagine that you're going to do 120 clients in a year. How much time would that take you one by one? DM, sales calls, conversation in DM, back and forward, all that time. Combine that time, how much time would that take you? Because not all conversations ends with a sale, right? So you might need to start 10 DMs to make 1 sales. You might need to do 5 calls to make 1 sales, depending on your conversion rate. Imagine how many hours compared to have a rinse and repeat system. And that is why I want you to give you this spreadsheet, because here you can play with the numbers yourself. Your offer might be 500. Your offer might be $5,000. I don't know. It works for any offers. You can sell low ticket, high ticket, mid ticket. The fundamentals are the same. Does this make sense for everyone? That this is a business fundamentals, and what it actually could look like, I would love to know. And now, of course, I think I need to stop share because I have no idea how I find myself back here. Does it make sense? Does it look like something you would do that feels a reality? Absolutely, it does, right? And we don't think about masterclasses and webinars like that, do we? We just think about, oh, it's nice to have, it's teaching something, and then we throw some information together and it's just fall completely flat. Well, of course, it falls flat because we don't understand what it actually is. And we throw information on people that are already overwhelmed. So, and we're going to talk about that as well. Straightforward, perfect. So I hope those pictures made it a little bit clear what actually is that we are going to do. So if we just quickly just go back, I just want to show you this, what we're now going to move into. I showed you this. We are going to talk about this, how to fill it. That is lead generation. We're going to talk about the content that actually leads people to making a decision so you don't end up in an information dump. And we're going to talk about, of course, we can't talk about the entire sales process. We're going to talk about the moment that is exactly here when you invite people, because that is usually where most people feel the most strange around sales, is when they're going to invite people into their offer inside of the masterclass. So just make sure that I stop share so I can see everybody again. Yes. So we are back here. So let's make sure, add, comment, all the questions, throw them in the chat. I see some, most of it going to be clear now when we move on into the masterclass in itself. But Josephine is collecting them all, okay? So we are going to make sure at the end, no one is going to leave with any questions hanging, okay? That is not why we are here to gatekeep. We're here to answer your questions. So, lead generation. How do we fill the room with right people? And I want to start with something that a lot of people actually skip. And now I'm going to use a word that you hear a lot, but you have to have alignment. And what I mean with alignment is that the alignment between the people that you attract in and the offer that you are going to sell. Because whoever you invite in needs to be a perfect fit for that offer. Otherwise, you are going to invite cat. Oh, sorry, no, I threw my microphone. Cat people in, and then you sell a dog toy. It doesn't matter how good this content in between is, how good you are, how well you lead. Those people, it's not going to work because it's not a natural next step, right? And it's not about the size of the room. Remember this, 50 aligned decision makers will outperform 500 curious browser every single time, not the size of the room, okay? It is the depth of your message and how well that resonates with the right people, okay? Your room must match the transformation that you want to sell. And this is when most people get very uncomfortable, because then you have to be willing to repel people. Positioning is not about being liked by everyone. It's about being clear enough that the wrong people opt out, because when the wrong people opt out, the right people can lean in and you make place for them. So before you do anything, you need to understand your dream client at this moment, not a year from now, okay? Not just who they are, but how they describe themselves and their situation. What words do they use? What do they say when they talk about their struggles? How do they describe how they are living right now, what is happening now, not a year ago, now? Because when you pull that exact language into your messaging, something is going to start shifting. And people are going to read it and they're going to think, oh, I can recognize myself in this. It's like you speak right into my mind. This is for me. And that is why lead generation content looks different than ordinary content. Most people write content to add value. We do. Educate. We do. And inspire. And you should do. But lead generation content has one very, very clear job, is to make the right person recognize themselves in that moment so clearly that they take action. Okay? And not all content is created equally here. And lead generation content speaks directly to a moment where your dream client is living right now. So they can't ignore it. They're going to read and say, whoa, this hits. I'm going to click on this link because this is me. So, and this doesn't mean you need to be a great writer. It has nothing to do with being an amazing copywriter, right? It has to do with you understanding your reality of your dream client and write into that. And everyone here that is joining our sold out masterclass that I'm going to invite you to, I'm adding a bonus inside that is a 6 framework how to write lead generation content that you can circle around. So you just take it, edit it, and then you can use it. So 6 different frameworks that all aim for kind of pulling into the people and into their reality so clearly that they can't ignore it. So what happens is that most people that can't generate any leads or generate the wrong leads, they have the wrong message and they don't write lead generation content. They write ordinary content that is too broad, and people love to write it. They love to chit-chatting, but they don't take any action, right? So that is the number one thing. The messaging and actually write content people can take action on that they recognize themselves on. The second thing when it comes to lead generation that always comes up is the strategies, okay? But this is what I know. I'm not going to talk strategies here because there's hundreds of strategies, all of them work, okay? And inside of your phone, you have millions of people. It costs you absolutely nothing to go out and have a conversation with your target market. And still people say, this is hard. I can't find my people. They might not be online. There are millions of them online, and it costs you nothing to go out and have a conversation with them, right? So the strategies isn't the issue because we already have them. So the problem with lead generation, why people struggle with lead generation and not getting enough lead, is totally when it comes to mindset, attitude, and belief. And now you think, oh, that sounds fluffy, but hear me out. You need to understand what lead generation actually is. You have now built a masterclass. We look at the sales system. You built a masterclass. And inside of that masterclass, you solve a problem. You speak to a problem or several problems. You talk about problems. You solve them. Those are problems your dream client have right now that they're struggling with, which means when you do lead generation and inviting people to access that place and space of solutions, you are being of service to those people. It's a gift to the market to do lead generation. Most people don't think about that. They think about lead generation, strategic, whatever. It is actually not. It's a service to your market. And you have to care so much about helping people or solving this problem on the market that you're not standing in your own way, not sharing about what you're doing. Because when you do, it's like you're hosting an amazing party, but you're not going to invite any guests. And then when you sit there at your party and nobody shows up, you can't get bummed and say, oh, nobody showed up at my party. Well, you didn't invite anyone, did you? Right? And that has nothing to do with strategies. It has only to do with mindset and belief system. You have to care so much about solving this problem that you're not going to be the person that stands in the way. And when you understand what it actually is, that it's a gift to the market, you don't need to feel slimy, pushy, salesy, whatever you feel, because if that is preventing you from go out and share and help people getting access to a solution, you make the entire lead generation process about you instead of them. And it's not about you, it's about them. So you need to understand what is lead generation. It's a gift to the market, and you need to go out and share it. Not once, not twice. You should show up every single day and share about your amazing masterclass and give people a chance to actually register, right? So that is kind of the thing when it comes to lead generation. You hear it's not so much about what kind of the strategies and things like that. Do we need to write lead generation content? Do we need to find a way to understand our dream client's reality? Yes, but that doesn't matter if you're not posting about it. You can know your dream client inside and out. If you don't share about it, well, they're not going to know it anyway, right? So filling your event with the right people, start understanding your dream client more than they understand themselves, using their language and their words, however they describe. Write lead generation content, content that drives decisions, not only information based and things like that. Everyone that joins the Sold Out Masterclass, you get access to 6 frameworks that you can use. Just copy and paste. Number 3, get out of your own way. Don't stand in your own way. Go out and share every single day when you do lead generation. That is how you fill an event with the right people, nothing else. So that is the first part of the cycle. Second part, content. Okay. And if we go back to 2017, when I started out, I could throw out information and do an information dump. And then I could invite people and they purchased. Okay, no problem. That just doesn't work anymore because people have all the information. Information alone doesn't create transformation. Decision making does. Because if it would create all the information transformation, we would all have everything that we wanted, but we don't. We still have access to more information than ever, still the same problem, still no results, right? And the difference is that you need to write decision-making content. And your content that you teach, because you're still going to teach, because that is how you show your expertise. You can't show that you know your stuff without teaching your stuff. It's impossible, right? So you're still going to teach, but you need to understand about who walks into the room. They have tried things before. They might have been to other events before. They have probably bought a lot of solutions before, a lot of programs. They have invested their time, they have invested their money, and they're still not where they want to be. And they come in with limiting beliefs. They come in about limiting beliefs about themselves, the capacity, and they're skeptical as well. They have objections, they have mindset blocks. And on top of that, they're totally overwhelmed because they have so much information that they don't know what to do with it. So your job inside of your content is not to add more to that pile, right? Your job is to, first of all, see them, to lead them, to create a breakthrough. That moment where someone sits and say, I don't think this can work for me, to, oh my God, this is exactly what I have been missing, right? That shift. And that doesn't happen by just teaching, because the teaching they already have, right? You can go anywhere online, YouTube, ChatGPT, it's information, it's already there. They need someone to shift those beliefs, to shift that mindset, to shift those objections, whatever it is that your people are entering the room with, okay? So I want you to write down that your content needs to create a breakthrough. It needs to make sure that they understand what they did in the past didn't work and what they need to do instead. Paint the picture what is possible for them. Even if they tried, even if they failed, even if they bought all the programs in the world, you still want them to understand, I can do this and this could be my future. Because if you only teach without care anything about shifting the beliefs of your audience, you just add information on top of already overwhelmed people. And that is one of the big reasons why it's not going to convert. Information-based events, however they look like, is not going to convert as it should be. Okay? And if we then look into what makes people buy, if we look into more buying triggers, when it comes to social proof, when it comes, you're going to share real stories, right? When it comes to scarcity and urgency, I'm not talking about fake scarcity. I mean that a masterclass has a start date, a time, and a close date. It's an invitation with a deadline. That is the urgency, the scarcity. Reciprocity, it's a big buying trigger, right? You give value first and then you receive. Authority, when you stand up and speak, you immediately have built credibility. And then, of course, emotional connection. It's also a buying trigger. Because you speak directly in here, in a room where people are sitting into their fears, their desires, the problems, the struggles, their reality. You're speaking into that moment. And when we kind of talk about this and we talk about you need to teach, most people say, yeah, but it didn't convert because I gave away too much. And I need to kind of break that down because you can never, ever give away too much free stuff. What happens when you do is that you overwhelm Not, you can't give away too much so they say, okay, I don't need to buy. When they say, oh my God, this was so valuable, and then disappear, they are usually overwhelmed. And you need to walk a fine line to give away enough content to take action on, right? But not too much to overwhelm. And it's a fine line to walk on. And no, don't worry, you are going to overwhelm. Sometimes we still do, right? And you can almost feel it when you have done it. And it's going to happen. It's a kind of a imperfect line to walk on. And you don't need to worry about that because it happened and it's just a reality. But you are going to learn every time you run it, you're going to learn where you overwhelm them and what you can kind of pull back on. And I usually say, teach less, lead more. Write that down. Teach less, lead more. Okay. And that has nothing to do with not adding value because you're still adding value to people. And I can promise you, shifting beliefs in an audience is more valuable than an information dump and teach them an entire system. Right? It is. So teach less, lead more. And then, of course, when you talk about this, we can also cover some other things that might come up. Is that what if nobody shows up or one person, whatever? And here I want to say about this, and it's also the scarcity. What if nobody buys? What if only one person purchases or whatever? We are so focused on things that haven't even happened. All this what if is take over your entire brain. All that energy should be removed from the what if into the person that is right in front of you. Don't care so much about the people that didn't sign up. Don't care so much about the people that didn't purchase. Care about the person that is right in front of you, even if that is just one person. Because what happens when you help one person in the domino effect? If I help one person here, goes out and close 2 clients, what happens? Those 2 clients are going to be more happy in some shape or form. Money, relationship, it doesn't matter. They're going to be 2 more happy people and 1 person from here. That is 3 people. Then those 2 people go out and help even 3 people each become more happy. And in the domino effect of you having 1 person in the room, you change the world. So don't focus so much about the people that are not there. And don't focus so much about stuff that even haven't happened yet, okay? That is not where your energy should go. So now when we talked about you fill the room, and we talked about that you're still going to teach, but you need to look into who are you having inside of the room to create these breakthroughs for them so they can see things differently. They can see the future differently. They believe in themselves. And of course, they see your offer as the logical next step. And that comes down to sales. And this is what most people are most afraid about. It's the sales. And I want to, first of all, redefine for you what sales is, because most people think about sales as slimy, sleazy, pushy, salesy, right? I don't want to come off pushy. I don't want to come off sleazy, slimy. It just doesn't feel right. Okay, and I get it. That is just how life becomes, because in kindergarten, you were amazing at selling. You did a lot of bartering back then, but you were good at it. So what happened? Well, life happened. Experiences happened, bad salespeople probably happened, and we started to redefine what sales is. But I usually say that sales is just sales. Just like a black cat is just a black cat. For some people, a black cat is good luck, most beautiful creature in the world. For some people, it's the worst thing that could happen if a black cat, I don't know, what is it they say, walk over the street or something? A black cat is just a black cat. That you decided to define what the black cat is for you. So when you define that sales is slimy, pushy, slimy, sleazy, whatever, that is what you bring in when you are selling, right? If you redefine what sales is, that is what you're going to bring in. Because sales is just sales. It's not an emotional attachment to sales. It's just sales. You are going to create the emotional attachment, right? Not sales in itself. So I want us to all write this down. Number 1, selling is serving. The real transformation happens inside your offers. Selling is solutions. You are bringing people to a place and a space of solutions with problems they are struggling with. Selling is beautiful because it's the biggest compliment you can ever get when someone says, I'm going to invest in myself and I'm going to let you lead me. What is more beautiful than that? Nothing, right? Sales is energy. When you fully believe in the transformation of your offer, that you are going to help people with your offer, that belief inspires your audience to believe in themselves, which is energy. Selling is leadership. And I think that is one of the most important part here, because every time you make an offer, you are standing up and you are saying, I believe in my solution. I know I can help you, and I am willing to lead you to wherever it is that you're going to lead them. That is leadership, right? Which means selling is leadership. But when it comes to, we pull down into a masterclass, you need to understand that selling is also speaking. Speaking is selling. Because when we have talked about now to not only teach, but also lead people, to shift beliefs in people and make them see the future and make them realize, oh, this is what I did, that is why it didn't work, this is what I need to do instead, and that is your offer. You have been selling from the moment they entered the room. You just didn't think about it, right? Because you didn't realize that you were actually selling. So because people enter the room with mindset block, with limiting beliefs, with problems, struggles, frustration, fears, right? Skepticism, all those things. And your job inside of the content, you move them. You lead them to this bright future they can see ahead of themselves inside of the offer. That is sales. That is sales. We talk about decision-making content and lead your audience. That is sales. Which means if you think about that, then a masterclass actually don't have this. You think about it as different things, like here comes the sales, or here comes the pitch. Teach, awkward pitch, right? You have been selling from the moment you start. That is why you want to remove the word pitch. It's not a pitch. It's just an invitation. It's just an invitation for the people that have been in the room to continue their journey with you. That is all that it is. Nothing else. And that is how you sell. That is how you stand up and sell. And of course, you are going to do an invitation and you're going to present your offer, 1, 2, 3, this is included, whatever. But that is not what I'm talking about here, because that is not going to matter if your energy totally shifts and you do this. Now I'm going to invite you to my offer. That's not going to sell. This isn't going to work. You want to be so excited and believe in your offer more than anybody else could, because then you transfer that belief in your audience and they are equally excited. I had one client that joined in August in one of my offers. He said, I bought it because it felt like you invited me to the best circus in the world and it was just glorious inside. I had almost not speak about the offer, I thought, but it was the entire energy when I talked about my offer that said to him, I believe in this. I believe I can do it. And that is why you need to believe in your offer more than anybody else could ever do. Because when you do, and I know you do, because I know you can help people. I know that you're amazing at what you do. You have to believe that in yourself as well and stand up and speak proudly about your offer. So the only kind of invite that you do is that you just say, I hope this was amazing for you. And for everybody that wants to join, whatever it is that you're selling, I have an invitation for you. That's the sales. And you have been selling from the moment you start speaking, so there is no awkward pitch. This doesn't mean you need to be an authority. This doesn't mean you need to be a specific person or amazing salesperson or whatever, or you have to do this and you need to, well, I have never sold my offer. I have no created offer yet. It's not completely done. I need to create that before it needs to be ready. All those kind of things that holds us back. You need to have your solution clear for you. And I know you all do, right? I'm sure that all of you know exactly how to take your people from A to B, okay? And you're good at it. You need to believe that. We have, for an example, Sarah that joined us, and she did her first webinar or masterclass selling a brand new offer, closed 5 clients, brand new. We have Claire, for an example. She did a masterclass, her very first event ever. She had never, ever done any type of virtual events. 15 clients, high-ticket clients. She did have a big audience because she's a well-known name in her space, but 15 clients because they believed in their offer and they led people through a transformation inside of the content. They didn't just teach, okay? And that is how you actually sell from a masterclass. And you don't need to be some kind of see yourself as, yeah, but I am not the expert of the expert. Well, if there could only be one expert, there would only be one expert in every niche. So there would only be one that could talk about funnels, for example. I guess that would be Russell Brunson. Nobody else could do that. You need to understand, as soon as you stand up and speak, people already see you as an authority. That is how you build a category of one brand. And you can do that from your little place on the planet. You don't need to be a specific person. It's all in the eye of the beholder, not how you compare yourself to others, how people see you and how people feel you. And this is what I mean when I talk about when you do this, when you run these events, it's going to be a little, oh, like this in the beginning. But when you start owning the room and when you start feeling like, wow, I lead people, if people buy, people love this, I'm so excited. What does that do for you as a person? When you go out, how do you show up differently? Who are you? You are a category of one brand. People are going to start refer to you. They're going to share your masterclasses, even if you didn't ask them, right? That is what happens. And I want you to think about that because the money is good and the clients are good, but it's also about who you become as a person, as a business owner doing this, right? So if I kind of little bit just tie this together, so I want to share my beautiful little picture again. I'm going to see, it's hard to find all these clicks here. So if we then look at this little thing that we have here. So we talked about the lead generation. First of all, of course, we talked about that this an entire lead and sales system, because here we now don't stand in our own way. We are going to learn how to write lead generation content. And I'm so excited for everyone that joins the Sold Out Masterclass, because those frameworks are amazing and we're going to be there helping you. So, and then we don't stand in our own way. So we go out and actually share about our masterclass here. So people start signing up. So we also write content that is drive decisions in the language of our dream client, our messaging. Then we host it. We invite them, and then we are live here in the room. And this is where you build the like, know, and trust. And here you start leading people in decision-making content. You shift their beliefs. You create a breakthrough. You are answering questions in real time. It does not need to be perfect. We know that. It doesn't need to have the perfect setup, camera, microphone, whatever people say that you need. People didn't buy your offer because you've spent $5,000 on a camera. Come on, they don't, right? So that is not what we talk about here. Think about me in the truck with my turquoise background with pinup girls looking like crap. And people loved it, right? So it's nothing about that. So here we host it. We lead people through a decision. And then what do? We invite people, nothing else. We invite people to go from here into our offer. So we do the conversion. And of course, here you have an entire sales process, because you're not going to close down the offer in the room and then people can't buy it anymore, right? There is a process afterwards where you are going to write emails, you're going to do posts, you might do DMs, however you like to do it. And inside the Sold Out Masterclass, we have frameworks and templates for emails, sales emails. I've added that as a bonus as well. So you can kind of copy and paste. But of course, it's an entire sales process. How do we stack our offers? How do we present our offers? I can't, of course, cover everything here today. And then there is this time between where you, of course, need to come across new people. So this is the entire sales system. So what I want to invite you to is, of course, to help build this out. The lead generation, the masterclass, and the sales process. So you actually have an entire sales system that you can use over and over again. But here is also what I know is that a lot of you, and I actually have another slide, so I'm going to switch the window. As you see, my strongest side. This is the problem that a lot of people have. Can everybody see the page here? Josephine, perfect. You are running a service business, but you don't have any lead and sales system. And unfortunately, a lot of people get stuck here. And they add different tactics and different systems in all of these. So they have 2-3 things that tries to generate leads in one end. They try to nurture people in another hand, and then they try to sell in the third one with back-end system. All of that is just distractions, and it moves you away from speaking to people, right? We talked about that. So you're creating content, you are showing up, you're doing all the things that you should do. No sales, no kind of building your list. And you're waking up and the notifications from Stripe, nowhere to be found, right? And it's exhausting. I'm just going to say it's exhausting because we only search for the new kind of shiny object and add even a new system on it. Instead of that, you can strip that down into one masterclass, right? Because you now know, because you have been here with the room with me, you now know that a masterclass is going to replace a lot of things that you do today, right? And not only that, because we're going to give back your time. You saw how many hours did we need to be live in a year? 8 for $100,000. It's not a lot of time, right? Because it's a rinse and repeat. And a masterclass built the right way is going to change all this reality that you're in. And it fills the room, it sells out the offer, and you can run it again and again and again, okay? And that is exactly what we're going to build together in just 30 days, okay? And this is how your 30 days could look like. From posting without any type of plan to a masterclass that generates leads on demand. From showing up and hoping to running a system that closes clients every time. From inconsistent month to a repeatable cash injection you actually control. Because if I wanted a cash injection, what could I do? Run my masterclass. It's the easiest way in the world because I already have it, so I can just copy and paste it, right? From not knowing how to sell to actually sell live with confidence and conviction. As you know, I talk a lot about sales, and inside of this offer and all my offers, a lot about sales, right? Because sales, you need to embrace what sales actually is, because without sales, there is no one to get these amazing results for that I know you can help your clients get. So you need to sell. That is how you're going to survive and you're going to help people. From an offer that isn't selling to selling out that offer every single time you run it, every single time you open the doors inside of your masterclass. And instead of starting over every time with new stuff, new system, new software, whatever it is that we run around doing, you have one masterclass that runs again and again and again, okay? And this is how it's going to look like. This is what we are going to build every single week here. Week 1, framework, title, topic, registration page, everything that makes it impossible for you doing client to ignore your masterclass. That is week 1. Week 2, we built a presentation. We built the masterclass in itself, in how you do the introduction, how to create the lead generation, the content that drives the session, and how to create a breakthrough, all the things without overwhelming our audience, and also the invitation at the end, because now we know it's not a pitch, it's an invitation. We're going to write that entire thing, and also how to stack out your offer. Then, of course, you need to promote it. So when you need to build a promotion period that you're going to use, you get 6 frameworks as a bonus that you can use, and email templates. And if you want to use direct message, and we focus on 5 main strategies that is simple. It doesn't require a lot of time. So you have an entire promotion ready to go. And then, of course, how do we sell after? Because it's one thing to do this selling, then you need to continue selling after. It's the email, it's the post, it's maybe selling in DM if you want to do that. So how do we do that and keep up the energy and not kind of drop energy and things like that? And then the last week, we are going to put all this together and look into your calendar and look into your year, so we can help you kind of schedule it out and when you can run this, okay? And of course, I have thrown in a couple of bonuses. Important, these bonuses disappear on a Monday midnight, but you get an entire training. We talked a lot about alignment, okay? Alignment between the audience and the offer. So I have added an entire training, and everybody that joins now can access that right away, because we start the first live session the 27th on Monday the 27th at same time as this, 6 p.m. Central European time, and that is 12 p.m. Eastern time. Before that, you can go through this so you're crystal clear with perfect alignment between the audience and offer, no more cat people and selling dog stuff. You get the lead generation content kit, which is my frameworks, and the frameworks for emails and frameworks also for post. You can just copy and personalize. You get the Sell with Conviction training, which is a lot about mindset, about sales mindset, money mindset, how to become a bold speaker, and that is going to help you sell in a different way. Everyone gets this, but Monday midnight, we close the doors, okay? So the investment, Josephine is going to share it in the link. The investment is 497 for lifetime access to the portal, so you can actually revisit. Included in these 497, you get 30 days live support. The calls are every Monday, 5 weeks in a row. It's going to be a combination of some strategies. It's going to be a combination of implementation, Q&As, and it's 6 p.m. As I said, it's Monday, Central European time, 6 p.m., 12 p.m. Eastern. And we kick off 27th. You get the entire library. So of course, there is step-by-step training to do everything. You just start from the top and then you just go down, build, done. But we are there to support you for the 30 days. You also get a private community. You get the entire resource vault. There is a lot of plug and play templates. I have a couple of GPTs to brainstorm titles and things like that, and checklist. So you kind of never get stuck and you save some time. Don't figure this out on your own, okay? And on Monday, or on Tuesday, I will say, Monday midnight, we close the doors for this 497. The bonuses disappear and we go back to 777. So it's Monday midnight Eastern. And then you also get these bonuses. First of all, you get 300, save 300, since it's 497, almost 300 instead of 777. And you get the bonuses. But remember, Monday, and if you even think that, yeah, it might work for me, I'm not sure if if only one person show up and whatever I need to have ready, all the answers is here. And I can answer them now afterwards live, okay? Because this works for all niches. Doesn't matter if you have an audience, don't have an audience, if your offer is completely done, if it's just like a map on the paper you have created, you can build out this masterclass. You don't need all of that. And I'm going to just say, if you're going to wait until you're ready, you're going to probably be here 6 months from now on the same spot that you are now with the same question, because you are never ready. Being ready is a lie, right? We are never ready. And you can absolutely do that, but you need to ask yourself, how much does that time cost me if I'm going to wait even longer? It's an amazing opportunity, okay? But if you scroll down here, you can see a lot of people in different niches, okay? We have leadership, we have business coach, we have vegan psychologist, we have personal trainers, thought partners, all kinds. This is business fundamentals, right? But of course, running a masterclass, it needs to be built. It's not an information dump, okay? It needs to be built to actually make decisions, actually lead people through decisions. So that is what I want to invite you into. And we have the link in the comments. And now if you go out and join, I'm going to be, what is the time? I have no idea, but I'm going to be here answering questions. So go and join, come back and say that you're in so we can celebrate you, because I love to celebrate people that take action. And if we kind of just quickly go back to, I'm just going to share this one. I'm going to share this on the replay page. So you can play around with your numbers. But let's say you do this exactly as it is here. You built it now in May, you run it in June, and you get this. 497 investment, and you make this. It's this return of investment. It's pretty good, I would say, in a year. Worst case scenario, we do just this little. We do just 2 clients, 32 in return of investment, even if you close only 2 people every single time. And even if you would have do this, which I'm going to say is not going to happen with my support and Josephine's support, but if you do, you would still have $16,000. You would change 16 people's lives, right? And in the domino effect, you have created a huge impact on the world. And who are you as a person knowing you can lead a room and close clients? Because it's not only about the numbers here, it's also about that. And then we have this. This doesn't include any upsales, downsales. This is one offer, one masterclass. Remember that, okay? So we are going to jump in. I'm going to make sure we have questions. I'm just going to stop share so I actually can see the chat as well. Yeah, we can stay for 10 minutes here without overdo the time with any type of questions. So, Josephine, what do we have inside? Anything that we haven't covered?
Yeah, we have several questions, and I just got one. I think I know what it means, but I'll wait for the follow-up response there because it's a question that that just came in to me personally. So let's start, because Irina is very curious about what platforms do you use to build your masterclasses?
Zoom. I use Zoom for this host. I use Zoom. I mean, Zoom is easy. It doesn't cost anything. There is a massive amount of amazing platforms to run the room. Webinars platform, but oh my God, are they expensive? Do we really need that? I don't believe so. And I can share back in the days before, I focused most on Facebook before, and now I use Zoom because it's outside of social media, but then I did Facebook Live in a Facebook group. All the lives that I did from the truck cabin was not Zoom. It was Facebook Live in a Facebook group. And that was free, cost me nothing. But I would say Zoom meetings, don't complicate it. You don't need it.
And as a follow-up question there, because it's a combined question about Zoom, or maybe you mentioned Facebook Live, but also what about the LinkedIn Live?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn Live, we use it as a lead generation tool more, but absolutely, if you want to stream your event, you do that. And I saw the question from Debbie. Yes, free masterclass. If you want to use a masterclass to also grow your list, free masterclass. If you look at the long run, you can absolutely maybe add in the future a VIP ticket, for an example. Some people run paid events. I don't build paid events. It's not a strategy in the long term. If you really break down the numbers, you make more money running free event in the front end and work on the reciprocity of that. Yes. So we built a free masterclass, and I suggest that everyone that is here build free masterclasses.
So there is a follow-up question regarding the tech question. I think it's our regular tech question that we get. What platforms do we use, Angela?
So I use an all-in-one platform. As I said, I am very techie savvy. I built an app, all those kind of things, but I don't like it. And I love simplicity. So I use a one-in-all platform, and that is System. I have everything inside System.io, everything. A lot of my clients use it. Josephine use other tools, but System.io is the one that I use. It's an all-in-one platform. It's easy. It's pretty good value of what you get for your money as well.
Okay.
Don't overcomplicate it. I mean, in the worst case scenario, you can use the Zoom. You don't even you can use the Zoom registration page, right? So don't think that you need a lot of tech, because you don't need. You could actually use the Zoom registration in the front end, run it on Zoom meetings, have a place to send out the emails. That's it, right? It doesn't need to be, we make it so complicated, right? It doesn't need to be so complicated.
So we have several more questions. how do you narrow down the one masterclass topic? This came up in the beginning. Like, how do you define like what to teach in your masterclass?
Yeah, of course, most people have a lot of ideas. That is what we have, right? But if you join the Sold Out Masterclass, we are going to help you figuring out what you should run with. But if you look at your offer, you're going to build one masterclass to sell a specific offer. So if you, for an example, Claire, I can share Claire, she built one masterclass to sell her offer, right? One topic and one title. So one topic and one title to sell this. And then that was a perfect alignment. In the back end, after she have hosted, I think it was 2 masterclasses, she built actually an upsell that she sold in the back end of that. And the next thing that she did, which was almost 1.5 year into her journey, she built a webinar for a lower ticket offer. So she had one webinar, one masterclass in the middle, and one back end more about an info session. But start with one topic. And if you have a lot of ideas about what you're going to do, come and join the Sold Out Masterclass, because then we can kind of figure it out. Which one are you going to start with?
And I mean, it's also where the bonus, the offer alignment comes in, right?
Yes.
And the support that we're that we're giving throughout the 30 days. So hang on, I have a list here with all of the questions. Okay, so this is a great and very promising projection of the offer sales, you know, the return on investment and how it could look like. But how do we deal with the situation when there are no sales at all after the masterclass, which happened to me? So this is a fear that has already happened. So how do we deal with that?
Absolutely. And it might happen. The thing you need to understand, just because a masterclass didn't make any sales, it wasn't a failure. And most people think that, oh, this doesn't work, I'm gonna throw it all away, my offer doesn't sell, my whatever. You then need to go in and look at it, right? And you need to look at it, what happened? Where did I go off, right? Did I have the wrong people coming in? Or did I have the right people actually coming in? But when they came into the room, my messaging changed. So they didn't recognize themselves. Did I overteach? And usually, I'm just going to say, that is usually where it went wrong. We overteach. So people get overwhelmed. It's valuable, no question, and it's amazing, but they're so overwhelmed that they say, I don't know what to take action on here. I have no idea, right? And they leave. So it's about actually go back and see what happened, because doesn't matter what niche you're in, what do you sell? If it's a high ticket, low ticket, medium ticket, it doesn't matter. They work, okay? It's just that you need to maybe have help. And if you join, we can look at it, right? And go back and look at where can I improve? And then you need to run it again, okay? And every athlete out there became the best by running the reps. They didn't give up, and they didn't come out and say, I'm going to be the fastest in the world in one try. But we think that it's going to be that in one go. It's not. It's a cycle that needs to be repeated. And if you want to master something, you just need to run the reps on it, right? But of course, running something that is broken over and over again is not going to work. Generating more leads and more visibility, and you have a broken sales system, doesn't work, right? So that is, of course, we can help you with that inside of Sold Out Masterclass.
Oh, lost my questions. Hang on a second. This masterclass is for 90 minutes. Is that better than 60 minutes now when time is getting so valuable? So can you talk a little bit about that?
No, I mean, there's a little bit depending on what you teach. If I would have run a masterclass about deep inner work, maybe grief or something, I would never run 90 minutes, because people would be so tired because there's a lot of inner work. If you teach more strategic thing, 90 minutes, I like the 90 minutes format, but you decide. It's your masterclass. You say, okay, I want to do 30 minutes. I want to do 45 minutes. I want to do 2 hours. I join a lot of masterclasses that are 3 hours long, right? So it's totally depending on what do you want to do, and who are you going to target and what is the content that you're going to teach. And for me, for my audience, I mean, if you want to build a $100,000 business, 90 minutes, well, it should be easy to show up and watch something for 90 minutes that could make you $100,000, right? But if I would be working in another niche when I was in health and wellness and we talked a lot about mindset, I would probably not run a 90-minute session because it's too heavy for people to consume, right? So of course we can help you with that as well, completely look at it and really break it down and decide something. And I can share this, you might run 90 minutes and then you say, oh, never again. It was too much. I'm going to do 35 minutes the next time. You don't know. You need to do it first until you find your format. It's not one thing doesn't fit all. It's just not reality, right? We are all different. We sell different things. It's also what are you going to sell? Like if I'm going to sell tickets for $47, I probably wouldn't run 90 minutes because I don't need to. But if I would have sold something that was $15,000, I would probably maybe run 2 hours even to be able to build more connection with the audience.
Perfect. Yeah. So one last question. I think the time is pretty good. Realistically, what effort should someone expect to launch the masterclass, considering marketing, messaging, reach outs, follow-ups, and things like that?
So if we look at the cycle, I would say, let's say you do a masterclass, that is one day, right? It's one day. So let's say it's today. And most people do lead generation for maybe 10 to 14 days before a masterclass. And then you might sell for, you open cart the same day as you do your masterclass. Let's say we sell for 3 days. So it's about a 14 days period. And to build out, if you join the sold out masterclass, to build it out together with us, I would say you will probably, if you want to join the live session, of course, it's all recorded. So if you can't join the live session, well, don't worry, you can watch the recording. But the live session is about an hour. And then I would say you would need to invest to be able to build it in the 30 days with our live support in 30 days, probably 2 hours per week you would need to invest, right? But it's nothing compared to what it's going to give you. But you have lifetime access, so you can, and you have lifetime access to the community. So if you want to take longer or shorter, it's up to you. But we are there for live sessions for 5 weeks.
And also to remember that you're building the resources once. You keep the same landing page, you keep the same emails, you keep the same direct messaging collect templates. I ran my LinkedIn Clarity Masterclass 9 times with exactly the same landing page, right? So you create that once and then it's done, right? So do you want to, that was all the questions, Angela. Do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, perfect. So I am so excited that so many people could join. And I really hope that this was a breakthrough for you, how you see selling with masterclasses. You might have a different view of them. And I hope you got inspired that you can actually do this. You are the person that can fill a room. You are the person that can lead your audience. You are the person that can sell. You can sell out your offer every single time. You just need to have the support to build it the right way. So you don't need to run the trial and errors and close zero, right? So you don't need to run the lead generation trial and error, which can be very, very exhausting to see doing lead generation after lead generation and nobody sign up, right? So make sure that everyone that is here come in and join the sold out masterclass, and everybody that's joined get all the bonuses. And also you get an intake form that you can fill out so we know more about you, because as I said, it's a 5-week live experience as well, not only all the content, where we are going to serve you on the highest level. So make sure that you click and you join and you come in and we can build this out. We start the 27th, but remember, midnight Monday, bonuses gone, and it's 777 to join. Okay. So thank you so much for everyone that was here with me and Josephine, and I hope to see you inside. And I'm going to send out the replay. I'm going to add a little count sheet also, so you can download or make a copy and count on your own pricing of your offers, what that might be, and how many clients you want to. And then you can actually see the return of investment for the sold out masterclass. So thank you so much, everybody. So happy to see you all. Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.